What's good, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Beauty, and I am going to do my review for Insecure Season 4, Episode 8, Lowkey Happy. Before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Let's get to it. So Lawrence is in the bar where we saw him in last week's episode preview, and he is waiting for Issa. So he spots her, and what happened next, I don't think any of us could have anticipated, because Issa literally bust her butt as soon as she walked in. I'm like, girl. So Lawrence goes over, tries to help her, but she's like, no, just give me a couple more minutes. Let me just stay here on the floor and soak in my embarrassment. And she's still trying to play it off, but Issa was really Issa in this moment. So Lawrence obviously felt bad for her, but they kind of brushed it off eventually and laughed and kind of like got back into their moment from their previous relationship of knowing Lawrence was asking Issa how the block party went, and Issa told him that she really accomplished everything that she wanted to do. And it's revealed that Lawrence had been in San Francisco interviewing for what appears to be a new job. And Lawrence lets Issa know that he saw Molly at the airport, and he mentioned the awkward moment that he had with her referencing Full House. And Issa's like, oh, I don't care, we're not even friends anymore. And Lawrence is like, what? So that was a shocker for him. And they both agreed that the bar they were at was a little bit too loud, so they are waiting for a lift to take them to a Spanish spot that Lawrence always wanted to try out. And this was a pretty funny part because there's obviously tension between them, but they don't really know where the night is going to take them. So they end up in the lift, and Lawrence and Issa are just having an awkward conversation with the driver because she thinks that they're going on a date, but obviously they're exes. So Issa's just not with it, and Lawrence is more so playing along. Issa was like, I thought this was going to be a quiet ride, but clearly it wasn't. So they finally get to the Spanish spot, and Issa reveals that, yeah, she's actually been there before, even though they both wanted to go there in the past. So she pretty much knows the whole place inside out, knows exactly what she wants to get on the menu. And it's funny because Lawrence is relying on what he knew previously about her preferences, but she has a new favorite drink. She has this knowledge of this menu that he never knew before, and she pretty much knows exactly what she wants, which is a little bit different from before. So she's ordering everything. He barely really got a chance to choose what he wanted, and he's kind of impressed, and he's a little bit surprised because they've been apart for some time. So this part was really interesting to me because Lawrence is actually doing what most of us would want to do with an ex, which is getting closure and really asking Issa what her perspective was on their relationship. So Issa says that it was really hard for her, especially when Lawrence wasn't working, because he didn't want to talk, he didn't pay her any mind, and she just felt as though there was no effort on his end. And he thinks that they were trying, but obviously it wasn't good enough. So right here you can just see how two people in the same relationship can be viewing what's happening in a totally different perspective. So Lawrence asked Issa why Daniel, and it seems like Lawrence specifically had something against Daniel, or he feels as though there's something that Daniel had that he didn't, that led Issa to cheat on him. And it really wasn't anything in particular about Daniel's personality. It was just that he was available for Issa when she felt like she was being neglected. And I'm not condoning what Issa did. She shouldn't have cheated. However, I do understand how she got to that point, especially in that episode when she came home. It was literally her birthday, and instead of putting a little bit of effort into making her day happy, Lawrence was just sitting on the couch expecting her to just pop on her PJs and just watch TV. And it was just, as someone who really cares about birthdays, I thought it was just little to no effort whatsoever from his end. So Issa says to Lawrence, you didn't really buy me a ring, did you? And it turns out that he actually did buy her a ring. She didn't feel like they were in the right place to get engaged, is my opinion. So the whole idea of committing to someone who didn't really seem into the relationship scared her. So this whole time I'm just looking at them like, this is just such a bad idea. Like, even though you guys are in a better place now, you're still gonna have that chip on your shoulders, like, but you did this and you did that. As soon as Issa goes to the bathroom, Lawrence gets a text from Condola. Bruh. And I can't believe how two-timing he's become. Like, why do you have Issa on this date with you? In between, he gets this text from Condola saying, hey, I know we said Tuesday, but do you have time tonight? He replies and says, like, he'll let her know when he's done. And I'm really just feeling so sorry for Issa during this time, because she has that glimmer of hope and disparity that things are going to go back to normal, but lo and behold, it's too soon. I mean, Condola literally just told Issa that they broke up last week or 2 weeks ago. He's definitely not ready to move back to going with his ex. It's way too soon. Lawrence and Issa leave the restaurant and she runs into TSA Bay. So awkward. And he's there with his boo. Her name is Mazda. Yeah, this part was really awkward. And Lawrence asked how they knew each other, and he was straight up. He was like, yeah, we were hitting it. Like, no hesitation whatsoever. And Issa is so embarrassed. The secondhand embarrassment was so real at this point. So at this point, they're just deciding what to do. TSA Bay mentioned that there was an art walk, so they decided to go. Lawrence tried to play Issa at this part. He tried to leave her hanging, but he was like, I'm just playing. We're going to go to the art walk together. So they're at the art walk, walking all cutesy and coupley, and this just screams toxic vibes to me. Toxic. They're just literally flirting with each other this whole time. Literally flirting. And I know Issa's endgame this entire time. And at the back of Lawrence's mind, he knows about that text that he got from Condola. So this point, they're literally daring each other. Like, who's gonna say it first? Who's gonna invite who to whose place first? That's literally what they were doing all the whole time. So they see these couple of paintings that remind them of their friends, and this is just another reminder of how there's so much that binds them together in terms of their friend group. And Lawrence ends up purchasing a painting. So Lawrence and Issa decide to call it a night and get a lift together. And it turns out that Lawrence lives close by to Issa. So they have this awkward hug in the lift, and Lawrence invites Issa in. And Issa notices that the couch that they had at the dunes is in his place, and it's spick and span. He has a house cleaner. Lawrence is really leveled up. So Issa asks if she can go to the bathroom, and Lawrence decides to be a sneaky little bastard and goes outside to make a call to Condola. So he's still trying to see Condola after Issa leaves. Are you kidding me? So Condola, I don't know where she is, but Lawrence realized that Issa was listening the whole time. And so they have this conversation about, are you still seeing Condola or not? And Issa was like, well, what if I don't want the nights to end? And I could have slapped her through the TV. So he was like, okay, then you should stay. And she literally spills her whole heart out. And I'm like, Issa, you have made so much progress. Why are you going back to Lawrence? Like, it's so crazy because part of me is toxic and wants them to be together, but her pride just left the door. Like, oh. So of course they get the feels, they start making out, and of course Issa is staying the night and Lawrence is not making it to his meeting with Condola. And they wake up the next morning. Issa's wearing the shirt that she bought from the art walk, and they're all giggling and being all cute together. But Lawrence still knows that he's still trying to be with Condola. And at this point, we're not sure where he stands. but Issa refuses to be dropped off by Lawrence at her apartment, and she says she's gonna walk, so she does the walk of shame. And I'm like, didn't this girl just say that she lives right around the corner from Lawrence? So it seems like she's walking to Nathan's. I'm not sure, but let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this. Honestly, it was a very interesting episode because it was literally just Lawrence and Issa the entire time. Just asking each other all the questions that we've been wondering ourselves. So let me know in the comments, do you support Issa and Lawrence getting back together? Yes or no? Do you support anything that was said by either of them at dinner? Yes or no? And what do you think Lawrence wants at this point in time? Do you think he's trying to balance both Issa and Condola? And do you think Issa is fine with settling for being a side girl at this point? Because this is just a hot mess. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Until next time, deuces.